Good morning, good afternoon, as well as good evening to everyone, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Let me introduce you today the methane, dangerous greenhouse gas, and what we can do about it. Methane is the second largest, most dangerous greenhouse gas. The current average global temperature is already 1.1 degrees Celsius higher than that of the pre-industrial era, and all because of the rise of greenhouse gases. Emissions released into the air since the mid-19th century are having catastrophic repercussions on the planet. Repercussions that we can mitigate if we tackle the root problems, reducing emission. Refer to this photo. You can see that one of the most significant natural sources of atmospheric methane are wetlands. Emitting methane gas and contributing to the climate change, methane is released as organic material in the wetland, slowly decompose and ferment in the oxygen-poor environment found there. And they remain a major area of concern with respect to climate change, as methane is more than 25 times as potent as carbon dioxide at trapping heat in the atmosphere. In the wetland area, methane is produced by anaerobic bacterial decomposition of the vegetable matter underwater, where it is sometimes called marsh gas and swamp gas. Wetlands are the major natural source of methane produced in this way. Atmospheric methane comes from both man-made and natural sources. The two largest sources of methane emission from human activities are agriculture, especially cattle and rice paddies, and fossil fuel extraction, transport, as well as use. Fossil fuel methane is emitting from coal mine, fracking, gas leaks, and venting of oil wells. Together, fossil fuel, agriculture, and waste account for 60% of methane emission. Natural or biogenic methane is produced and emitting wherever organic material decompose in the absence of air, for example, the underwater or inland landfills, a process called anaerobic fermentation. Bacteria in the digestive tract of animals also produce methane. For example, cows, termites are significant methane emitters, in addition to the burning biomass wherever it occurs naturally or is caused by human contributes moderately to methane emission. Here comes our challenge. Back in 2021, the New Star, Sunday 24th of October, reported that Malaysia is tackling the rising of amount of trash. Malaysia generates about 38,699 tons of solid waste every day. That is at least 1.17 kilo per person. While Malaysia has many landfills, the number is still not enough to accommodate the large amount of trash generated. That says from the Housing and Local Government Ministry. So here comes. What can we do about it? Hereby, I would like to share with you the solution, composting, the way forward. The way forward is to have this compost life cycle. We started with the delicious food that we had in the restaurants, at home, as well as when we pack home for our animal or for us to eat. After we eat, we actually have some scraps. Some of those scraps can be eaten by the chickens, and the chicken core will have the poo. With all the people's output from the food, as well as the chicken, turn, poo, and other ingredients, can forward for a process called compost. Compost is added to soil, and this soil will bring in a nutrient for a healthy plant. And this healthy plant will become back as a harvest crop to our life cycle. Let us see how it works. As you can see the diagram on the left hand side here, the stage 1 is actually getting all the fresh scraps, and it will go through the process of composting continuously from the top to the bottom, and it will have the output of compost matured before removing it as a finished compost, as this model tells. Indeed, the philosophy of it is actually mixing the brown and the green recipe. As you can see here, the top layer is brown layer, followed by the green layer, then followed by the brown layer. Then the third layer will be the green as well, and the second last layer will be the brown before it being being separated with the first layer of sticks, so that you can actually give the bottom of the composter. At the same time, you need to make sure that it's keep moist, as well as also aerated. This air helps to speed up the decomposition. Aeration should be done thorough the entire composting process to ensure that it is being aired. Keep covered by using the compost lid and cardboard or canvas over the top of the pile. With that, you can have your homemade compost. Next, let me share a short video of homemade composting. Yeah, please enjoy.
Over here we have two things that go in the compost and something in process. This is coffee grounds, and I like herb tea, so these are herbs from my garden, and after I make the tea I put them in here. These are great for composting. You're going to want to combo your green items, which are wet, with your brown items, which are dry. So that's kind of the science. That's the only real science you need to think about with composting, is having the green and the brown together in the right amount. So start with the brown, add the green, and you just layer that up. So when you go and look at your compost pile, if it seems a little too wet and you smell anything at all, add more brown. If you go and you look at it and it seems dry, you might want to add more green, and you might even want to put some water in it to make it moist. It really should smell like good soil. As it's being made, this is kind of in process, this compost. It has a few leaves in it. It has some twigs in it. Those will never compost, so if you want to be strict with your compost, don't put those twigs in. But these leaves will all break down with the green and the brown, and ultimately you're going to have this beautiful, it's almost like chocolate cake. That's what some people talk about. It feels kind of like crumbled chocolate cake, and it smells great. It really just smells sweet. It smells like really great soil and slightly sweet. And so this is the black gold that gardeners are after. They're really after this compost that they can use in their garden. You can apply it to your flower beds. It's a very gentle fertilizer, and it really will help all your plants perk up. And at the end of the day, composting is one of the best ways to recycle, and it's also one of the best ways to have the healthiest garden you can have.
We have come to the end, and now we understand that methane is a dangerous greenhouse gas. And from human activities as well as from nature, methane are being emitted out into the atmosphere and causing climate change that we experience now. Moving forward, we have a role to play. We can exercise the healthy way of composting our household waste into a profitable and high nutrient compost for our plant. With that, we can actually reduce greenhouse gas emission. We can actually prevent further methane gas emission by exercising composting in our home waste. With that, I would like to end my sharing today with a very good quote, that we do not inherit the earth from our ancestor, but indeed we borrow it from our children. Thank you. Thanks to all, and also the following reference and YouTube video that I repost and share here. Last but not least, I take this opportunity to thank the university as well as Dr. Chen for the very fruitful subject of climate change. Thank you.